Before we get into today's broadcast, please check the pinned comment for a list of ways to help victims of the LA fires. Let's put our forks together to help the animals and humans in need. Good afternoon. I'm Marielle for Forkable News. Today's broadcast is slammed full of feel-good stories because, let's face it, we all desperately need it right now. Without further ado, let's get right into today's good vegan news. I'm happy to be back in Studio 1F. First up, Europe's largest marine park set to close in 2025 following PETA campaign featuring Pamela Anderson. Marineland, France, Europe's largest marine park, is set to finally close its doors in January after years of activism against cetacean captivity. The decision marks a significant victory for animal rights campaigners, including PETA France and other groups that have spent years raising awareness. Nearly 50,000 supporters signed petitions and participated in protests, letters, and exposés to pressure the park into closing. In a statement, PETA called for Marineland's remaining orcas, Wiki and Keijo, to be relocated to sea sanctuaries rather than other marine parks. The only ethical option is to send these long-suffering orcas to a sea sanctuary, the organization emphasized. I am so happy to hear this unbelievably cruel aquatic prison is now permanently closed. And hopefully 2025 will be the year humans stop splashing out on animal entertainment altogether. Next up, how Gordon Ramsay makes his iconic beef Wellington vegan-friendly. Now, there is a bit of a mystery as to why this article is popping up on January 12th, 2025, when the original video was posted to YouTube August 12th, 2022. But hey, it pops up on the news tab, it's fair game. I don't make the rules. Wait a minute, yes I do. There's nothing particularly newsworthy in this article. It's basically a puff piece for Gordon Ramsay's vegan-friendly pursuits. So either Gordon Ramsay's team decided to go on a PR blitz in a continuing effort to rehab his vegan-hating image, or some AI robot was tasked with scraping the internet for Veganuary-themed stories. Either way, I'd like to take a moment to celebrate the journey this man has been on. This is a person who has claimed to be allergic to vegans and proudly tricked vegetarians into eating meat. And yet, in current times, he's managed to do what seems to be a modern-day chef mission impossible, having dedicated vegan options on his menus. Take, for example, Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen location in the Foxwoods Casino in Connecticut, which is one of the only restaurants in the entire massive casino to even offer vegan options, much less an entire dedicated menu. It's kind of crazy that the UK has become so vegan-friendly that they sent one of their historically least vegan-friendly chefs over to the US, and here they end up being one of the most vegan-friendly chefs. We've got a long way to go. If someone had told me years ago I'd be simping for Gordon Ramsay in a YouTube video in 2025, I'd have told them to fork off. But I guess he's given me hope that people can change. So thanks, Chowhound, for this totally random article. From one celebrity chef to another. South Florida celebrity chef launches vegan menu with free tasting event. One thing I've noticed is that while trends like Dry January have really caught on in the US, with many bars and restaurants offering Dry January specials, it still feels like most restaurants largely ignore Veganuary. That's why I was really pleasantly surprised to see this story. Celebrity chef Teach, known for his Miami-famous eatery House of Mac, which, from what I can tell, is an entire mac and cheese restaurant, is embracing Veganuary by introducing a new plant-based menu. The South Florida chef, whose real name is Derek Turton, is a former music manager for Pitbull and is set to host a free tasting event at his restaurant on Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m. I wanted to promote a healthier lifestyle while also creating a space where vegans and non-vegans can share a flavorful dining experience, Turton said. I really enjoyed this segment, which I will link below. The mac and cheese looks delicious. And I love seeing a non-vegan chef consider vegans in such a thoughtful way, all while embracing the spirit of Veganuary. The vegan menu also looks amazing. I have no idea what I would get, though. It's not like there's one thing that stands out to me above everything else. By the way, does anyone else do this slightly delusional thing where they plan what they're going to order from a restaurant that they will most likely never go to except in their dreams? No? Just me? Okay, let's move on. Strictly Come Dancing finally ditches feathers from its costumes after PETA appeal. Strictly Come Dancing, which is the British version of Dancing with the Stars, has taken a major step towards cruelty-free fashion by announcing it will stop using real feathers in its dazzling dance floor costumes. The decision comes after an appeal from animal rights group PETA, which highlighted the suffering behind the feather industry. The show's team confirmed they have been increasingly moving away from real feather use over the last few seasons and are now fully embracing faux alternatives. PETA has asked for the unused feathers to be donated to its Feather Amnesty campaign, where they can be used for educational displays at fashion colleges, attention-grabbing protests, and other awareness projects. It's heartwarming to see fashion's continued trend away from feathers, which is an industry that's often lesser talked about, but incredibly cruel nonetheless. Now if only other dancing shows would follow suit. Come on, Dancing with the Stars, don't you want to one-up your British sister? Speaking of the Brits, David and Victoria Beckham praise spectacular vegan meal. Here at Forkable Network, we don't love to do celebrity-focused stories, but this one made me smile. And that's the measure, apparently, of whether or not I do the story. It's a low bar, because I've got a perma smile. David Beckham recently sang the praises of vegan fine dining restaurant 11 Madison Park in a post to his 88.3 million Instagram followers. His caption reads, "More about date night, wow, full vegan and spectacular with obviously great wine and even better company. Pink heart emoji, at Victoria Beckham, at 11 Madison Park, wow." I think he liked it. Unfortunately, megastar ______ didn't seem to agree. "Full vegan pure crap, food for Instagram. I had once and never ever, fuck that." Are you okay? I love how I don't even have to bleep that, because it's not f*** after all, it's fuck. I'm sure many celebrities have been to and enjoyed 11 Madison Park because, let's face it, who else can afford it? But a public vegan restaurant endorsement from not one, but two huge celebrities is always welcome news to me. Also, this comment made me giggle. She looks like a little seal popping up, lol. She kinda does. Like a happy seal that was rescued from Marineland. Also, it's a bit full circle for me who had my vegan journey kick-started by a picture of Victoria Beckham holding Skinny Bitch in 2007. Watch this video for that lore. Here's hoping 2025 is the year I win the lottery and can finally go to 11 Madison Park. Did I mention it's expensive? Thank you to subscriber Andreas Van de Aard for bringing this next story to my attention. New Zealand to ban Greyhound racing. Like often happens with good vegan news stories, this is one where I went, oh, I kind of forgot that was a thing. But oh yes it is, and oh yes, New Zealand has said, not here, not anymore. Or more likely, not here mate, not anymore mate. Do they say mate in New Zealand? I really hope so, because otherwise I look like a jackal. Do they have jackals in New Zealand? I really hope so, because then I look like a joey. Do they have joeys in New Zealand? Okay, you get it. New Zealand has announced plans to ban greyhound racing, citing an unacceptably high rate of injuries. The sport has long faced criticism in the country, with some breeders accused of mistreating or doping the animals. The government plans to wind down the industry over the next 20 months to allow time for the rehoming of racing dogs and for people in the industry to transition to other jobs. Apart from New Zealand, commercial greyhound racing is allowed in Australia, Ireland, the UK, and the US. What a surprise. Actually, you know what? It is kinda surprising. Because dogs are some of the only animals that citizens of these countries collectively seem to at least pretend to care about. So to think this is still legal is kinda shocking. In 2021, 232 racing greyhounds died and 900 suffered injuries, according to local media reports. The industry was placed on notice by the government in September that year, but the deaths and injuries continued. Animal rights group SAFE logged more than 2,500 injuries and nearly 30 deaths in the 2.5 years that followed. A key task now is to rehome the estimated 2,900 racing greyhounds that remain in the country. Well, like I said, I can't believe this is still a thing, but thank you, New Zealand, for changing that. And here's hoping the rest of us will follow suit. Side note, did this cause anyone else to look at the Greyhound bus company in a new light? Ick. I think it's time for a rebrand. Next up, plant-rich diets boost gut health, study finds. I mean, tell us something we don't know. But in all fairness, a lot of people still don't know that vegans tend to have better gut health than omnivores, according to a new large-scale study by gut health experts, including Tim Spector. The researchers used stool samples to analyze the gut bacteria of 21,561 participants from multiple countries. There were 656 self-reported vegans, 1,088 vegetarians, and 19,817 omnivores. Omnivores were found to have the most diverse bacteria in their gut microbiomes, but they also tended to have the highest number of harmful bacteria found to contribute to inflammation, colorectal cancer, and worse cardiometabolic health outcomes. The vegans, by contrast, had less species diversity, but a higher level of beneficial bacteria. These bacteria have been associated with protecting against inflammation and cancer and improved cardiometabolic health. The researchers found that the amount of healthy plant foods consumed was a bigger influence on the health of the gut microbiome than the overall dietary pattern. If omnivores ate more of these foods, they could increase the number of good bacteria in their guts, according to the study. Tim Spector recommends eating 30 different plant foods a week, including seeds, nuts, and spices, for optimal gut health. I'm not on the front lines of scientific research by any stretch, but this seems like a pretty significant and potentially groundbreaking study. Also, does anyone else find it frustrating that there's an entire wellness industry subgenre around gut health? Thousands of people literally getting rich advising people on what to do and, more importantly, what to buy in order to improve their gut health, when, according to this study, the best gut health advice could be boiled down to eat more plants. But that's boring, and besides, who's gonna get rich off of that? Next up, Sage, a former vegan restaurant that began serving regenerative meat 9 months ago, closes down after 14 years. Moving on, Chunk Foods expands with the world's first keto-certified vegan steak. Israeli startup Chunk Foods has become the first plant-based meat producer to earn ketogenic certified status. I didn't even know that was a thing. It earned the distinction for its vegan steak, which is made from soy protein. This certification, awarded by Ketogenic Certified, confirms that Chunk Foods products meet stringent ketogenic dietary standards, offering high protein content with minimal carbohydrates and calories. Chunk is undoubtedly a bit of an interesting name for a food company, but they seem to have done something quite remarkable. And while I don't see the keto bros transitioning to soy boys anytime soon, it's an interesting milestone for sure. Flavor is a critical aspect of Chunk Foods' appeal, according to the founder. The company's unique fermentation process enhances meaty notes while minimizing the beany, grassy flavors often associated with plant proteins. I'm not going to lie, the first about 5 times I read that, I was sure it said beany, gassy flavors, to which I thought, fair, while also feeling a bit defensive of my beloved beany, gassy flavors. Nevertheless, I do understand that meaty notes are a bit more popular in today's world than beany, gassy ones, or grassy, or gassy, whichever you prefer. So it will be interesting to see what happens with Chunk's steak now that they're expanding their retail presence in the US. Let me know, would you try it? And our final story, popular video game promotes Veganuary to 100,000 players. Longleaf Valley is a game about saving nature and animals, and it's set to help do this in the real world by promoting Veganuary to millions of people. Game company Trees Please Games will run Veganuary promotions through the game throughout January. The free mobile game has almost 2 million downloads and more than 100,000 monthly players. Trees Please expects the paid Veganuary adverts to reach around 75 million impressions. As a committed vegan and animal rights activist, I could not be more excited for this collaboration, CEO and founder of Trees Please Games, Laura Carter, told Plant-Based News. By engaging Longleaf Valley players in Veganuary, we're creating awareness of the impact of animal agriculture on animals, nature, and planet. This has the potential to create thousands of new vegans and save millions of animals. Players of Longleaf Valley are tasked with saving the valley by designing and creating their own wildlife reserve. They must build habitats, rescue animals, and reforest the valley. But the players' reforestation efforts don't stop inside the game. Trees Please Games has partnered with Eden Reforestation Projects, which work with local communities to plant trees where they are needed most. By playing Longleaf Valley, players earn tree tokens. Once they earn enough tokens, seconds a tree gets planted. Trees Please Games is soon to hit the milestone of 2 million trees planted, which the company will celebrate alongside promoting veganism in January. This story blew my mind. The existence of this game, the popularity and impact of it, and the seamless Veganuary integration. For those who still write off video games as being overly violent and bad for society, welcome to 2025, where we're saving animals and planting trees, all while passing time on the subway. And that's all of our stories for today. Did they make you feel good? Give this video a thumbs up if so, and share your thoughts below. Subscribe if you're not already, and for more of your favorite Forkable news anchor, me, check out my Patreon, where you can join our Discord community for weekly live chats, listen to podcast episodes full of spicy hot takes, get exclusive video content, and more. A special thank you to my fancy forks, Claudia, Dindinmasker, and Big Chungus 4526. Again, I'm Marielle for Forkable News, and this has been Good Vegan News. Thanks for joining for today's broadcast, stay safe, and we'll see you again soon.